Hey everybody, Brandon Jones here, Disney Infinity fan on vacation, and was not planning on making many videos while I was on vacation, but I have to take a moment and talk about where I'm at right now. In case you guys haven't heard, Disney Infinity is officially canceled. We have got 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. They are going to cease production. We are going to get some figures based on Alice in Wonderland, and we're going to get some figures based on Finding Dory. We're also going to get a Finding Dory playset, and then we're going to get no more Infinity. I have some opinions about this, and I'd like to share them with you, and I would love to hear your comments on it and begin the discussion. Apologies, I was not around yesterday to talk about it, but here are 7 points that I would like to bring up that I've been thinking about ever since I first heard about Disney Infinity being canceled. Number 1, that sucks. I like that game. I should probably start with just my gut reaction. That sucks. I was not expecting that. A lot of people have been posting an article that was published on March 5th where John Blackburn commented on all of the reasons why Disney Infinity was successful. And so it really raises the question of what is quote-unquote success as far as Disney is concerned with Infinity. And sadly, that's something I don't think we'll ever know. We won't know how well they should have done with 3.0 if everything really hung on 3.0 and kind of there was this marker of how much money it needed to make, and then therefore, if it did make that much money, then we would consider a 4.0. What is also especially weird is the fact that it looked like 2016 was going to be different and a little bit scaled back, which I thought was really smart. They weren't going to do a 4.0. They were just going to focus on playsets and figures, and so one has to wonder what happened there, if that was kind of the beginning of this conversation to wrap up the production on Infinity, or if that was just a completely different conversation, and then later the decision was made, wait, you know, we know we said we were going to do 4.0 maybe next year or later, but we're deciding that financially this is not viable. But I like lots of games. There's lots of things that can entertain me. There's lots of games that enable the kind of creativity and world building that Disney Infinity does. But obviously, being a big Disney Infinity fan, that's a bummer. I was actually at Walt Disney World a day or two before this announcement hit. I brought my Disney shirt on vacation and everything. And as a big fan, for other reasons that I will get to, this is a bummer. So I'm ready to move on from that, but obviously you guys can imagine that I'm a little bummed out about that. So officially, my response is, that sucks. Number 2, discontinuing merchandise. Not something you hear Disney doing a lot. Disney loves their merchandise. They love selling little things. They make lots of little things. They love selling them. You go to the Disney store, you go to any of their theme parks, and there's all sorts of different things that you can buy. And so Disney making drastic decisions with the game companies is something that we've seen before. They shut down LucasArts. So I'm not surprised that Disney will do something like this as suddenly as they did it. I mean, that's how you do it. If anything gets shut down, unless someone got fired beforehand, or unless there's kind of some big business deal that we are all familiar with, these things usually happen very fast. Case in point, what happened to us 2 months ago. So this is something that I'm used to, and it's something that we've seen Disney do before. What is interesting is them getting rid of the merchandise. There is a series of toys that Disney makes called Vinylmation. I don't know if you guys collect these. If any of you do collect them, more power to you. If you like these things, that's great. I saw them and I was kind of instantly turned off by them, because basically what they are is they're a little Mickey Mouse design, and they basically paint different patterns, Captain America, Ursula, basically whatever they can fit onto this little tiny Mickey thing, and they have thousands of them. And so it's strange to me that they have something like this, that I'm personally not interested in, that is just, you can't escape these things. They're sold in blind packs sometimes, so you don't really know what different Vinylmation you're going to get. And to me, they're very easy to produce, they're, from my just base understanding of them, because it's the same object every time. Disney Infinity figures, they're all, they all have different shapes, they have different colors. And it seems to me sometimes with Vinylmation that you could probably just take red paint and splash it on one, and somebody would probably pay, through the nose for it. So what interests me is I wonder if the Disney Infinity community would be okay with Disney continuing to make the figures, but they wouldn't necessarily work with a video game. Like if you want to shut down Avalanche and you want to shut down the people, making this game, you want to shut down Disney Interactive, that's one thing. But if you have this community that is so used to buying toys, buying merchandise, buying figures that Disney produces, I wonder if people would still be down to buy things in the vein of Infinity that have the same style, but aren't necessarily tied to the game. Now, I know that might seem completely absurd. You're like, what's the point of Toys to Life if the toys don't actually come to life? But if you are a collector, as many people are for different types of things that Disney makes, and you just want to keep your collection going, and you want to add more things to it, and you want to fill out, it's a bummer for me that I'll look up in my collection forever and I'll see Mickey and I'll see Donald, but I won't see Goofy. And even if I had a Goofy that didn't work with the video game, but I could just spend $10 to $15 and put him up on the shelf next to him, that would make me happy. And I wonder what the cost would be for just making a figure in that style, maybe changing the name of it, like Disney Infinity Figures or Disney Infinity Classic or something, and then you could just continue to release those. So again, there's multiple tiers to this cancellation. It's not just Disney canceling this video game, it's Disney completely shutting down, only 3 years into it, one of their biggest merchandising offerings that they've ever had. So it's worth considering, not just obviously all of the people that got fired, obviously all of the game development that was in production that has now been canceled, but this incredible merchandise that's, I'm assuming, will no longer be sold in stores, that Disney will discontinue at some point, and that we'll all have to scrounge around to eBay to finish our collections if people want to continue doing that. Number 3. So Lego and Skylanders win. I mean, they won. Disney backed out, and Lego Dimensions, 1 year into its endeavor, is now full steam ahead. A lot of people are speculating now that Disney's getting more into licensing. This might mean that Disney is going to Lego Dimensions. That we'll now see Star Wars in Lego Dimensions. We'll now see Marvel in Lego Dimensions. We'll now see maybe Disney and Pixar characters in Lego Dimensions, which a lot of people are making the argument, and it's a great argument, that that's a lot easier for Disney to do. They basically just get a paycheck. They license out all of their figures. They don't have to worry about the quality of the game because they're not making it. All they really have to do is worry about the representation of their characters in these other properties. What's frustrating is when I would talk to all of the people from Disney Infinity, some of my favorite stories would be the meticulous nature of making sure each of these characters was represented faithfully in these games. And it seemed like something that not only Avalanche and Disney Interactive cared about, but Disney as a whole really cared about. You would hear things about, Darth Vader can't run in Disney Infinity; he has to walk. And Baloo has to be a certain way, Mickey has to be a certain way. When Sorcerer, Mickey Mouse as the Sorcerer's Apprentice came to Disney Infinity, there was all sorts of hurdles that they had to get over to put that character in a game that a company within the company was still producing. And so it's weird for them to shut down this company that is already within their company that they can control, and then just kind of hand off all of their stuff to other people. Again, it completely makes sense from a business perspective, but for me, it has negative connotations because you can isolate all of these incidents to just what's going on within the Disney company and how much money that they had to spend on these games, but it's hard not to look at it as them losing to Activision and to Warner Brothers. Activision, which is basically makes up a bunch of crazy characters every year to keep Skylanders going, destroyed Disney, which has this amazing backlog of all of these characters, and to me made a more compelling and interesting video game. And so kind of a bummer that they lost. I mean, I know it's nobody really win or loses in here. We're all playing games and it's all happy and stuff like that. But at the same time, Activision and Warner Brothers won. It's kind of hard not to look at it from that perspective. So I try not to think about that too much, but that's always in the back of my mind. Number 4, best community ever. I will get over this eventually. I get my fill of Disney. I live in Southern California. I get to go to Disneyland all the time. I have friends that like Disney stuff. Disney makes great movies. They make great TV shows. And so there's a lot of Disney for me to absorb and to consume. So I will get over not playing this game. It sucks, but I will get over it. What is really hard for me to get over, and I think one of the things that I'll probably miss more than anything, is working with the community behind Disney Infinity and seeing the empowerment that they were given to create content, to get featured on a weekly show that Disney produced, to go to an event like the Toy Box Summit, which if you guys aren't familiar, was done before each of the releases of 2.0 and 3.0, where fans got to create toy boxes, they got to compete against each other, we got to meet, we got to interview the developers, and it was an event that can really only be rivaled, obviously, in size by something like BlizzCon, where the developer is like, no, we're going to have our own event. We're not going to tack on to something like PAX or E3 or Tokyo Game Show or Gamescom. We're going to host our own event, and we're just going to focus on one game. We're going to bring all of our fans in for that one game, and then we can create this community. And it was just one of the most creative, proactive communities that I've ever seen, and it was a genuine pleasure getting to meet all of those people, getting to see the incredible work that they did, and I think in the long run, people will, 5-10 years from now, somebody's going to bring up Disney Infinity, and I'm going to go, oh yeah, that was really great. I still have those figures. Maybe they're up on a shelf, maybe they're in storage, but I remember those, and that was really great. But I will never forget this community, and they're the thing I think I will probably miss more than anything. I do Toy Box Tuesday, which I will continue to do unless they shut down the servers or the game doesn't work anymore. But the interaction with the Easy Allies, the interaction with our Twitch fans that watch Toy Box Tuesday every week, and especially going to the Toy Box Summit every year, I was all geared up to do it this year. I was wondering where they were going to host it, and now I know. That was probably my first thought when I saw that news, was that, oh no, that means there's no Toy Box Summit. And I will miss that. To all of you fans out there for Disney Infinity that uploaded really incredible toy boxes, thank you for doing that. I think one of my first jobs next week when I get back home is to try to download as many awesome toy boxes as we can. So if you guys have any suggestions in the comment, whatever you do not miss this toy box, let me know. Number 5. What's next? When will that end? Another thing I can't help but think is, what now? And why should I be excited about that? A lot of people are saying, well, they closed LucasArts, but then we got Battlefront. Then we got all of these cool Star Wars mobile games that we're all playing now. Then, now we're getting this Amy Hennig Star Wars game. Now Respawn has announced they're doing a Star Wars game. And so good things did, depending on who you ask, good things did come out of the shuttering of LucasArts because they licensed out Star Wars games. They brought in a developer like DICE, who did what they do best. They created a multiplayer shooter and based it in the Star Wars universe, gave what I consider to be the best looking Star Wars game I've ever played. And so, yay, positive things can come out of this depending on where we're going next, but I can't help but think that creating something like Infinity and then closing it down 3 years earlier and then announcing something else leaves kind of a sour taste in my mouth because, well, you're just going to shut that down in 3 years too. And there's no way you could tell me you're not going to do that because you don't know. You don't know financially where these things are going to go. You don't know, how much money you're going to be making on, any of your enterprises in so many years. You have to look at every fiscal year and you have to figure out, what investments we're going to be making next year. And so I think that's one of the toughest positions that Disney's in right now because they've shut this down, and I think that's going to kind of overshadow any announcement that comes out of any kind of game that we haven't heard yet that Disney is either funding and obviously not developing themselves. And so, again, to repeat myself, that's going to be my major question. The next time, anybody that reaches out to me on social media and they're like, just wait and we'll see what the next thing they're going to do. My immediate response is, well, they're going to shut that down too. So if it's going to be something that I need to invest in, if it's going to be something that is not just one game, but a new enterprise that they are investing in, I'm going to be wary and I'm probably not going to invest in it because I'm going to know it's going to end someday. And I would rather invest in one game that I know I can spend $60 on and then just, move on to the next game. Or I'm going to be very cautious before I choose to dive into the deep end. Of course, I have no regrets over any of the coverage I did for Disney Infinity, any of the money I spent on Disney Infinity. I've loved the entire experience. But like all of these thoughts that are floating around in my mind, that's one thing that is tough for me not to think about, which is whatever you do next, whatever, was the cause and effect of making this decision, all of your fans are going to think that. You made this amazing community and you gathered all of these fans towards this project, and they were dedicated fans. I think Disney fans are Disney fans for life, but this stings a little bit, and I don't think you want to do that when you're creating a new endeavor. And so if you can forget that and that doesn't matter to you, then more power to you. Number 6, Toy Box Tuesday will continue. The game is still playable, the servers are still up, we're still getting figures, we're still getting playsets this year, so I should take this moment to tell you that if you are a fan of Toy Box Tuesday, I'm going to still keep doing it. Obviously, this is a discussion that is not just limited to one video. This is something that we need to talk about as far as where the community is going to go from here, and if we want to support something, if we want to play another game like Dreams coming out later this year, that you get to create your own worlds. that we can do that in the future. And I definitely don't want to cut off any of the amazing connections that I've made to the people at Avalanche, to the people at Disney, and to the amazing community that came up around Disney Infinity. So I will keep doing, if you're like, Toy Box Tuesday, what's that? Every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, for 2 hours, I play Disney Infinity. We are creating a Easy Allies toy box. I want to make Disneyland a Disney Infinity. There's all sorts of goals that I would like to do with the project, and even if it's offline, I can still stream the game. So I don't know if I'll be doing Toy Box Tuesday forever, but next Tuesday, you bet, I will be back in my garage, 10 a.m. Pacific time, playing this wonderful game. Finally, number 7, don't call it Infinity. If one bad report is going to make you shut down the project, don't call it Infinity. Don't call it something that denotes a project that will go on forever, which I didn't think it would go on forever, but I thought it would go on for more than 3 years if they're calling it Infinity. And I know, again, business, again, if money issues pop up and you don't want to do something just because fans like it if it's going to cost you billions and billions of dollars. But I want to bring up a point of a lesson I think that Disney learned a while back. If any of you have been to Disneyland Paris, it used to be called Euro Disney. Euro Disney did not have a good launch. I don't want to get into the particulars because I don't remember them specifically, but Euro Disney was not successful out of the gate. Disneyland was not successful out of the gate. The original Disneyland in Anaheim. There have been times when Disney, the company, has faced financial issues with something that they set out to do, that they wanted to do for a long time, if not forever. And then they realized, okay, this project is too big. We need to kind of rethink how we're doing this. And maybe we will, tighten our belts, and maybe we'll take some financial losses over the next couple of years, but it's important to try to make this stand the test of time. And I thought that's what Infinity was. I thought it was something that, case in point, them announcing that they were going to do 4.0 this year, and they were just going to maybe do some playsets and some figures. I was like, oh, that's smart. Maybe just downsize a year and then blow it up next year when you have another big game coming out or something. Like Disney Infinity should be modular. It should be something that's maybe big 1 year, or maybe not 1 year. Maybe you take an entire 1 year off entirely. If they had made the announcement, they're like, you know what, we're going to stop this for a while. We're not going to stop it entirely. We're not going to shut down these companies entirely. We're just going to stop this and then kind of reevaluate maybe ways we can do this cheaper later on. But to create something like Infinity, this is not only a lesson for Disney, but this is a lesson for anybody. If you're going to create something that the whole attitude about it is, this is a new project, this is a big endeavor that we are taking that is going to change the way that we view this, and then, oh, that didn't work, whatever. It's just kind of, again, like I was saying earlier, just kind of pours salt in the wound and just makes me doubt really anything you're going to announce now. If they ever announce some new thing, it's like magic bands. I just went to Disney World and they have magic bands now, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Whenever that comes out in California, which I hope it does, I'm gonna get a magic band and I'm gonna invest in that and get cool little decorations for my magic band. Or maybe I won't, because maybe they'll just get rid of that next year. Just kind of like Nintendo, how it's like every 2 or 3 years, they're just like, yeah, that store that we have, yeah, that's gone. And so it just kind of frustrates me. Again, that's business. I've said this like 1,000 times in this video. I understand that. I understand that if stuff doesn't make money, that you shouldn't do it anymore. And I support that. I understand that. I, of course, can't look directly at Disney's bottom line, so I don't know what that number was that they tried to meet, how far they were from their estimated goal. But I think it's a warning to somebody if you want to try to capture the imagination of fans, you want to try to build a community around something that sounds like it's not going away. And it's hard not to think that the word infinity in Disney's eyes means about 3 years. Infinity means as long as we care to do it. And even if we wanted to continue doing that, we're not going to get creative. We're not going to maybe figure out a way that we can parse this out. It just seemed like there was no adjustment phase. It wasn't like, oh, well, that didn't work out, so let's try to do things differently this year. They're not doing it differently, they're just stopping it. And that's frustrating. And so maybe you wouldn't call it Infinity. Maybe you would call it Disney Figures or something. And then that would make this certainly much less of a blow and would kind of put everybody in the right mindset that we wouldn't necessarily expect a new release. Case in point, LEGO Dimensions. Who knows if there's going to be a LEGO Dimensions this year? I don't know. There might never be another LEGO Dimensions. And that's fine. We would look at this, maybe they're never going to add another disc and they're going to do kind of what Disney was going to do this year with Infinity, where they're like, we're just going to release more stuff, not necessarily another disc. That might be what LEGO Dimensions does in the future. That might be a smart idea for them to not force you to buy a new version that is incompatible with old versions. So I just wish there was a little more forethought going into how long and how dedicated they were going to be to this project that they named after something that doesn't stop. I think that was a poor choice. I think that is something that is going to sour the emotions of their fans, particularly their fans of their digital entertainment, for a long time to come, and that's unfortunate. So there they are, the 7 major thoughts that are swimming through my head in the wake of the closure of Avalanche Studios, Disney Interactive, and of course, Disney Infinity. The conversation will not stop. The game will not stop. Like I mentioned before, they're still releasing new stuff. Hopefully there'll be some events coming up around these new things that they're adding to Disney Infinity, so I can get a chance to talk with the developers, talk with the PR people around Disney Infinity, kind of get a clearer picture of not only what happened here, but where everybody's going. There's a lot of really talented people that work for Avalanche and Disney Interactive. There's a lot of really creative people in the Disney Infinity community that I don't want to lose touch with. And so thankfully, it didn't end immediately. Thankfully, we still have a couple months to kind of sort everything out. I really want to wrap this game up with a bang. If any of you guys out there specifically work on promoting Disney Infinity through a podcast or through a channel, I know a lot of you already, but I'd love to celebrate this game, to kind of look at this. It is sad that this game is closing down, but maybe take the opportunity to celebrate what it was, and to celebrate how much fun we had. Celebrating this company, celebrating these characters, and making really fun game experiences for all sorts of people to enjoy all over the world. So thank you so much for listening to my opinions. You can reach out to me on Trailer Jones if you have any comments or concerns, and I will see you next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, on twitch.tv/EasyAllies for another very emotional episode of Toy Box Tuesday. Thanks, everyone.